Day 4 of Hanway. Okay, so we've hit Thursday of the Hanway week, and we are now with Vivek Idris, who is a phenomenal artist and photographer. Hello, Nicola. Vivek, good morning. We're just waiting for him to join us and take an artist conversation with him. I'm so excited to. I'm never going to get that right. Hi, Adi.
Good
Hey.
afternoon.
Good
Hello,
morning.
everybody.
How are you?
I'm good, Ricky Lee Thompson. How are you doing?
I'm okay, Vivek Idris. I'm okay. I'm
Thank
happy
you
to
very much. Thank you.
very happy to talk to you today. So
Excellent. Good.
we
Let's get
can just
started. Or shall we wait for a few minutes? What would you
we can give
recommend?
it one or two, but then I don't want it to squinch us down at the end. You know what I mean? Because these will go to
Yes,
YouTube.
that's true.
You haven't joined us just yet. You got 24 hours to catch the beginning as
That's
well.
true. And
Exactly.
forever on YouTube. It will be there,
Dun, dun,
hopefully.
dun. So yeah, just give it another minute. Hi, Marv.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. A
Yeah, man.
pleasure to see you all.
It's going to be such a pleasure to talk through your artistic career so far, the things I
Yes,
know
we
and the things
hopefully have a lot to talk about.
exactly, which is fantastic. You do a lot, an
I
incredible amount.
try.
Well,
I
well
try to
done.
keep myself busy. Can
Okay,
you hear
cool.
me okay?
Well,
Video all right?
yeah, I think everything's okay. If any of you guys do hit any, like, you're not hearing us or anything, let us know in the comments. And that's it. I think if we just can kick off with an introduction from you and then we'll crack on.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I am Vivek Idris Goel. I was born here in London. I've lived here all my life. I am a self-taught professional artist. And very quickly, I'd like to make a quick explanation or the difference in some people's view on professional artists versus amateur artists. One of my mentors once told me that once you sell your first piece of artwork, you become a professional artist. So I've taken that to heart, and I call myself a self-taught professional artist. Based here in West London, I use art primarily as a way to express myself um, and to highlight something that I see in the world, which leaves an impression on me and I hope will leave an impression on someone else. As
Cool.
part of the Hanway Collective, which I joined about a year ago now with the amazing Ricky Lee Thompson, who has given us so much support and built a foundation for us to be able to share our art with everyone else and potentially make it a lucrative business in the future.
Yay! You're so welcome, guys. Honestly, you guys make it so worth it. Honestly, you do. It's
Well,
really
it's down to your hard work as well. It's not possible without people supporting each other. And that's something when you have creative friends or people who run their own small businesses, I think it's crucial that you show your love for your friends by supporting them. And even if you're just sharing a post, it doesn't mean you have to buy someone's work or support them financially. But on social media, one post, share, or one like can make a big difference.
I honestly, and Vivek is like, he's so good at sharing stuff. He's shared it before you've posted it. Like anything that the Hanway guys do, you are always posting. And I always think about that and I love your latest posts where loads of people have gone through and just liked loads of your stuff. You did it with Nicola
Yeah.
yesterday. And
It's
that's
really
where
nice to
I,
get good feedback like that.
yeah, and that's where I think I take such an example from you, and Marvin's also fantastic at this. He's always sharing, and it's you can tell his range of people is so wild because it's a BJJ class the one day, then it's your artist
Yeah,
conversation,
absolutely.
then it's something else. But you guys always take that time, and like you say, on social media, we do put posts out there to get that feedback, to get comments, not necessarily just for likes, but for feedback. You can get positive and negative feedback. And it is a fantastic way, like you say, to support someone when you can't do it necessarily financially
Mm.
right then and there, but you don't
Yeah.
know who you sharing that post with could affect. Like I have loads of people who don't actively participate in my Facebook, but they'll give me a call and they're like, oh yeah, no, I know that. And I'm like, why don't you ever like I don't want them to, but I'm like, I don't know then that you know what I'm doing or I always go through and I love to give a like. I don't give it unless I genuinely like the thing. You know what I mean? It's a bit
Yeah,
that
you got to be real, of course.
exactly. But luckily, like, I follow people that I really enjoy their content. So I'm showing the love for the time and effort I know it takes to edit things and put them up and feel that, oh my God, my soul's in the world. And it's online. It's sort of forever. People
Yeah,
can screenshot
really
it.
putting yourself out there.
Yeah, so I think that point that you touched on is fantastic, and something that you yourself is such a great sort of lead by example, if I can call it that, because you really
Thank you.
do share everything. Shad and I always laugh. I'm like, oh, Vivek shared the thing, and I'm like, did I post it? Have I done that already? But that's what's so great is, like, you know, I can, and like you say, the support thing of why I started the collective in the first place. This shit is lonely. And it's
Yeah.
incredibly difficult without a support structure, without people who have the similar interests. Like, you and I both work in IKEA. Not everyone there is necessarily artistic. So
Yeah.
it can be very hard to find a group of people to connect with in that capacity. And that's why, you know, your work ethic is, even if your art was kind of like on its way, really, really not as advanced already, I would have still asked you to be a part of it, because your work ethic, your
Thank
support,
you.
the way that you do things is thinking of other people down the line almost always when I see you. And, you know, you always have a kind word. You're not someone that sits around and wallows. Like, you keep your negativity quite quiet. You
I
don't,
try to. There's plenty of it, but I try to keep it quiet.
well, you know, I hope you know in your life you can reach out to people, but you don't, like, I can be quite vocal and negative at times, but you're very calm
Yeah.
on the outside when you're going through a negative time. But I can then see in your artwork how that reflects, and so emotional,
Yeah.
even photography.
And that's why I'm very lucky to have this creative outlet. It really lets me express myself in a way that I can't necessarily do in social settings or in family settings or wherever it may be. With my art, I'm able to really just be free and let whatever I'm feeling, whatever emotion I have, just go straight into the artwork. And that's not always the case. I'm lucky that I can work in a variety of different mediums. So
Yeah.
some things are more emotional than others. So when we discuss things a little bit more detail a little later on, I will go through that a little bit more as well. But I'm lucky that I can use a piece of art to release something and then also turn away and say, okay, I'm just going to do this piece of art just for its aesthetic pleasure or just for the enjoyment of creating in that moment.
Yeah, I think that's also something that I've touched on with a few of the artists I've spoken with. I would be so devastated if I had to. And I do understand, you know, there's something about one medium and dedicating all your time to it. But I kind of feel like you, I would be very, very uncomfortable with only having one medium to do. And
Yeah.
because maybe I don't do it the other way, and people can see the value in just dedicating all your time to one thing, 100%. But for me, I feel a bit similar to you, where I'm glad I can, you know, I can take a nice photograph. I can think about composition,
Yeah.
creative understanding. I can, you know, draw something, color something in even, you know. I have the same as you, that creative outlet. I'm a little bit more vocal, maybe emotionally, but I'm a female. We're allowed to be as vocal as we like with our. So yeah, that was quite interesting when you pointed out, and I know the different mediums that you use, but just, it's nice to have that freedom of not just sort of doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, part of me in some way wishes I could just focus on one thing
Oh,
and
somebody,
then,
sorry, Vivek. Sharpal
oh,
Dreams for
my
a few
wonderful
minutes.
cousin, she is an amazing poet. You should follow her for her poetry. Really inspirational stuff, very emotional. You can really feel like a real connection there.
Sorry,
But yeah, what was I saying?
I wanted to let you know she had left a little comment there.
Yes,
So
hello. Nice to see you there. Thank you for joining. Very nice to see you. So yeah, I'm lucky that I can do a lot of different things. But yes, I wish I could focus on something sometimes, and really become proficient in it or really reach a level of quality that I am happy with. I've never really been happy with any of the art that I've created, maybe one or two pieces. But I think that's a good thing because it motivates me to continue experimenting and continue trying to enjoy being an artist. Because I don't want it to become something where I'm begrudgingly creating art, or I'm drawing a painting, drawing a picture just to draw it, or taking a photo just to sell it. That doesn't really interest me at all.
Right. And I think it shows with the projects you put out and the way that you've themed even your Instagram, going back through your whole thread from the very beginning has been really amazing to see how your digital and your art is starting to merge, which I'm very excited to discuss
Okay,
with you.
that's interesting.
I see you getting quite a lot of good, like, great feedback on these particular pieces. But for me, I figured, like, everyone's looking for their style. But I
Yes,
really
definitely.
love your take on how you've edited some of these drawings, and I want to explore with you a little bit on how that's going to evolve, because it's been so, like, a bit stalkery, but I'm okay with it. All the way through from the beginning, you can still see that it's you. But really, your editing is quite sick, and the way that the things that you choose when you edit, I think, is very similar to how you paint. You come at it from a very artistic sort of way, if that makes any sense, because it's still very emotive. I find your photographs very emotional. And like I think I said to you the one day, you had a bullet and some close-ups of some steel.
Yes.
Very mechanical.
This one right here. This one right there.
Yeah, and for me it was, I said to you, were you sad? Were you going through a downtime? And you're like, yeah, it wasn't a very bright time. And then I think I mentioned something else. You said, no, I was in a much better place. And that's what amazes me, is that you could still capture those emotions, and you chose the material to be hard and cold and, something
that's really nice to hear, because that's like exactly what I intend to do, is to try and put that piece of myself truthfully into the art. And then if another person can see it and either draw the same conclusion or feel the same emotion I was feeling, or understand the place I was in, or even feel something entirely different, if they can take something away from it, that is really gratifying for me. So thank you very, very much. Makes me very happy.
I think it's great that, because it's hard for photographers, like we speak with Marv about him finding his style and, the way he edits, and you can start to tell those are Marvin's photographs. It's the same feeling for me.
Yes, absolutely.
And then obviously I'm going to leave that till a bit later. But yeah, so if we talk about your initial inspiration or your initial introduction to art, was it something that started when you were very young? Take us through your...
Well, to be honest, not really. I was never really creative as a younger person. I was more interested in sports and computing. Those are my main two things. Academically, I was very interested in history. And I think that's actually where my love of architecture came from. Because I was always seeing monuments that have stood the test of time, that have been there for hundreds or thousands of years. Something that a piece of humanity has left on the earth that can exist and survive long before the creators are there. And that, I think, left a mark in me. And especially when I was studying the Cold War and the Soviet Union, the brutalist architecture of the Soviet Union was like breathtaking for me. It was something that changed my view on architecture, on buildings, on photography, and even on geometric designs. So I think that that's really where the seed was created. But education-wise, I never studied art. I never had any interest in art classes. I would pretty much not even go to them half of the time, or just sit there with my headphones on. But mostly it started when I was decided to create some music. I've always been a lover of music. If you know me, I've always got my headphones in pretty much all the time. I listen to music like 6 hours a day, pretty much. And I decided that I wanted to try and create something just for fun. So I bought myself some digital workstation software, Fruit Loops, FL Studio it's called now. And I started creating drum and bass, house music, jungle music, things that I wanted to hear myself. And I would use that as sort of workout music. So when I would be running or working out, I would be listening to my own music. And that was very inspirational for me. So I started to put that up on SoundCloud. I got myself self-published. I put a few tracks up on iTunes and Amazon and Spotify. And I needed to create cover art. So I was like, what do? I don't want to take a picture of my face and put it up there for people to see on iTunes or something like that. So I got my old desktop publishing software. I used to be an editor for an online magazine. And I thought, okay, let me just quickly create some weird stuff. And that's what like hooked me with digital art. I was able to instantly put an idea I had straight away onto the screen, put the colors I wanted, and it was like instant gratification. I don't have to print it. I don't have to do anything. It's there. It's done. So I created all the cover art for around 20 tracks I've got, which are available on SoundCloud now for streaming for free. You can also buy a couple of them. I think on iTunes they're still there. And then I said, well, after a while I got bored. I reached the limit of my experimentation. I reached the limit of my capacity without having any training. And I'm not the type of person who likes to study something creative, if that makes sense. I like to just do it. I don't want to follow what someone else is doing. I don't want to learn their method of laying down beats in a piano roll or whatever. I just want to just do it and see what happens. So I got frustrated or bored, and I decided during a period of illness that I would try something else, and then that would be painting. So while I was ill, I watched Bob Ross, an American painter. He created a huge series of oil paintings and a technique of oil painting where anyone could really pick up the brush and within half an hour create a painting just with no prior knowledge or experience. And that was like amazing for me, that ability to just create something, and in half an hour you've got a mountain or a waterfall that no one has ever seen in the world. It's just come from your mind entirely. There's no reference photo. That was very good for me. And then I took like a break for maybe 6, 7, 8 years, who knows how long it was, and didn't touch any art, didn't do anything at all creative. And then I guess maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, I suddenly, well, on my Twitter feed, I'm got quite a medium-sized Twitter account, I'd say, and I was mostly about politics in the run-up to the election, the US general election a couple of years ago. And when that went in a slightly different direction as I was expecting, I said, okay, politics is not, I'm not interested in that anymore. I'm going to ignore politics for a couple of years, do something else. And a few of the artists that I follow on Twitter, they were really encouraging and really helpful in like demonstrating how they create some fluid acrylic paintings. And I just went headfirst into that. I was painting maybe 2 or 3 every day and just using that as an outlet for frustration and expression, just a pure emotional art, nothing that was trying to represent anything. It was just entirely abstract artworks. And at the same time, I attempted to try and do some oil artwork again. And I had recently visited a Piet Mondrian exhibition in Amsterdam. And I've always been very interested by his work, but seeing the artwork there really had a profound impact on me. It was the way he used color and geometric shapes just like burned into my mind. I tried to create a few similar things, but also trying to put my own emotion into the piece, but something there that I probably wouldn't try again because it's something that I enjoy more to see than to try and express myself. So that was and then I took another break. I started working with IKEA, an amazing company, very happy there, a very creative place as well for me. A part of the team that Ricky Lee Thompson is with is responsible for creating all of the amazing displays that we have throughout our store. And being able to work there every day and seeing these new designs, new arrangements, new inspirational pieces was fantastic. It really drove me forward and encouraged me to try and explore different things and different ideas that I might have. But unfortunately, working there pretty much took all my time and effort. I put all my effort into that job, and so I left no time pretty much for anything else. So I stopped painting entirely for about a year. And then, thanks to Ricky Lee Thompson and the Hanway Collective, their encouragement, support, and confidence that they put in me to prepare myself for an exhibition, to join the collective, or to be asked to join the collective, and to support the other artists there, was a real big push in the right direction. It was motivational, inspirational, but also very scary. It was a point where I had to say to myself, okay, I'm a professional artist. I'm going to create art, or I intend to for the rest of my life. But do I really want other people to interact with my art and see my art, or am I just happy just to put it out there quietly and let it fade away? And talking to Ricky Lee Thompson and her desires for the Hanway Collective and the plans she has in the future and the intentions that we want to do, we do want to make a difference. We do want our art to go out there and touch people and make an impact on their lives. And that is something that I wanted to be part of. So with her support and encouragement, I went straight back into my photography. I opened up my photo archives and I started looking at pieces that I had taken maybe in years past and finding themes and visual things that carried through my years in traveling around and taking photographs of buildings and things that I see around. So in photography, I have three main projects that I separate everything into. So there's macro photography, which is taking very small objects or very close in images of very high detail, and that is intentionally focused on detail of objects. There is the architecture photography, cityscapes, which I like to try and find examples of brutalist architecture, and that is a project which is focused almost entirely on contrast. So how I can use, mostly monochrome photos, but how I can use color and shadow and the variation between minimal light settings to create an emotion which otherwise may not have been there in the scene. And then lastly, with photography, it would be normal city or nature scenes, which where I like to focus on color. So I select one or a few small colors and I bring the vividness up a lot. I make them very bright, very neon, very stunning, if you will, something to catch your eye immediately. And that lighting effect is something that I try and carry through a project and make it a similar project, even
Is
different.
that one that's an example of your vivid?
Yeah, so there you go. So that would be just a very boring, normal picture that I took with my phone, actually, while on holiday in Thailand. And through the software, I was able to bring out the pieces that I want. And because I have such a large photo archive, I'm able to go back and in the moment that I'm searching through the photos, if I'm lazy, if I'm bored, if I'm angry, if I want to go on holiday, if I want something, I can pick a photo that represents the feeling that I'm having in this moment and then manipulate it to get exactly what I see in my head. I don't use manipulation to try and create something that is not a photograph. I try and create what I see in my head when I look at the image. I try and recreate that. So photography is very limited. I try and limit myself to these three areas and not branch out. I don't have an interest or a talent in portrait photography or anything like that, but I try and keep myself controlled or constrained in this sort of way. And then the final thing that I do at the moment would be drawing. So this drawing started just purely for enjoyment, just purely for fun, just something I could, just to grab a pencil, sit there on board while I'm watching something on YouTube, just sit there and draw something and see what happens. Gradually, I didn't really find a way to progress, so I stopped that after a while. And then once I joined the Hanway Collective, I was really motivated by some of the other artists there and some of the feedback I got. Many of our artists in our collective have or the supporting artists as well, have a history in architecture, and speaking with them about some of my photographs really encouraged me to say that I have a certain vision about buildings and a certain way of capturing it, a certain angle, perhaps. So that is something I wanted to try and recreate in pencil drawings. So drawings are separated again in...
If I could interject, because I
yes,
think...
please. I've been talking for about 25 minutes, I think.
No, but I think what's great is because you do dabble in so many, the information you're giving us is fantastic. I'm just going to quickly interject. What I found the most fun about your drawing is how much, when it's a building, your confidence is literally through the roof. Use the expression. And your life drawing was absolutely completely
Well,
opposite, only because I totally understand now,
mm,
because of like going through your buildings and that deep, deep love, and now understanding more of the background. I completely know why. Like, to put me in front of something that I'm uncomfortable to draw, I would have had the same experience as you, but you still came and
yeah,
you did the life drawing. You know what I mean? And I hope the couple tips that people had given me before will help you going forward. But your
mm,
animals, and when you have a longer time with the organic stuff, it's still
yes.
coming up fire. Don't get me wrong. But I think it was just quite funny to think, I've seen your drawing. I understand that you have good proportion. You understand, but it was in that moment of uncertainty, as your drawing is quite strong. And then to have
Yeah.
you like that it was kind of like, oh, even Vivek's having a moment of struggle. And I know you're very
I was really struggling, definitely.
self-deprecating, and I try to beat that out of you, because we all have moments. Like, I didn't just pick up a pencil and be able to draw a figure. Like, it's taken high school, my
Oh
whole
yeah.
thing was about figures. So you know what I mean? It was just in that moment. And if I can just quickly interject to show you guys, I mean,
Don't show my life.
this is the full drawing of the
Oh
Eiffel Tower.
yes.
You can see, like,
Eiffel
you
Tower, Statue of Liberty.
Eiffel Tower. Imagine, shame, the Statue of Liberty. Thank you, Vivek. How embarrassing for me. It's been a long week. That's all I'm going to say. But even in seeing that from your very first drawings a year ago, the depth you're getting to, and you're getting more fearless with your drawings. Because I'm exactly the same. It's pencil. It can be erased, but I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you're beautiful. So it's good to have you alongside on this journey with me in the collective, because I feel like I can talk to you quite easily about the different mediums, because like Shan is with her glass
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
and she does paint and photograph and stuff. But
And her photography is amazing as well. Thank you.
that's good, eh? Well, all you photographers are freaking epic. I'm like, and we're a photography collective. If that's all we are, I don't care. You guys are phenomenal. But getting back to your drawing is like, what's so great to see is how much effort you put in, but there's such love when it's buildings. I really feel it. Like, when it's the more, animals or
Yeah.
human figures, I feel
Yeah,
you
I
will
sort
get
of
to
lose it
that.
towards the
Yeah, I feel you'll get over it, but I feel now I understand that you actually understand buildings. There's a deep love. You have a specific type of architecture that you like. So it's more than just like, oh, I like buildings. So
Yeah.
I see it reflected so deeply in your artwork, and I just wanted to point that out before you get away from pencil drawings. So the way that you're going forward is phenomenal, and then we'll talk about the mashup of this in a bit, because it's great.
Yes, yes. So that one there that you showed, the Statue of Liberty, that is from a photo.
Sorry, can we get
I've got a photo one as well, a work in progress. But the Statue of Liberty is one of my favorite things in the entire world. To
it?
me, that monument represents so much. I've had a keyring that I bought from the Statue of Liberty on my keys for maybe 15 or 20 years now, and I will hopefully keep that with me forever. That building, to me, that monument represents a lot. And every time, and one reason why I try to redraw previous drawings is I try to see if I'm making progress, if I'm actually if this is anything that I should continue doing, or maybe I can go back to painting for a while, or photography for a while, or something else like that. But yes, the American architecture and New York in particular is a very inspiring place for me.
Yeah.
I was very lucky that I had a sort of city tour at like 2 a.m. in the morning with a cab driver, just driving me around New York while I was on my way to catch a different flight. And he took me to every site. We went all over the place, and it was really amazing just to see the buildings from ground level. Because I have a sort of obsession with diagonal lines for some reason. Moving from bottom left to top right, there is something about that diagonal line which has like burned into my head, is stuck with me forever. And so whenever I try and make art, I will try and incorporate that somehow, somewhere. Yeah, so pencils, I do a little bit of nature pencils. That's very, very difficult for me. Um, I prefer drawing things which have more hard shells, like crabs or beetles or something, as opposed to something fluffy, because the fur is like, yes, that is much more fun to draw. So this is actually done with an ink pen that you see there. So I'm experimenting with calligraphy as well at the moment.
Ooh.
So I'm hoping to try and add calligraphy to my repertoire of art things. So yeah,
Yeah.
the ink pen is really good,
I
really
think
fun to.
also the animals you've started doing now, I think you also did, so earlier on you've done like a tiger and a hippo. I've seen those ones before.
Yeah.
And then now you've kind of, I feel that you are getting more confident with the organic stuff, but this is still very graphic, very,
Hmm.
you know, it's a spider web, it's done very graphically, so it's almost can be kind of cartoony. And I also prefer
Yeah,
kind of to
that's
draw that way in the beginning when I'm sussing it all out, because it's a bit easier to do that and then develop over time. Yeah, so it's just awesome to see how you've moved on, man. It's really good.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very lucky that I'm able to just do different things. I'm a bit of a shopaholic. I like to just spend money for no reason. So I've got a huge collection of art stuff. So I've got things that I've never even touched. So I can just say, okay, what's in this box today? Oh, it's like
Okay.
markers I've never seen before. Let me just use these. So I've got a lot of projects on the go at the moment as well. I did start recently a new painting project, which is six small canvases. I've got one here at the moment. Six small 20 centimeter canvases where I'm doing maps of the world.
Yeah, yeah,
So the
yeah.
United States here, and then you've got Europe and all that. So I've drawn the outline, and I'm going to try and do some of that. And then I do like there's another one where I'm sort of attempting to see what colors I can actually put in there. So I'm trying to do bits and pieces during this lockdown nonsense that we're all stuck with, unfortunately.
And now,
So
have you
that's all of my art.
sorry?
That's all of my art. There you go, all of it.
Awesome. That was very, very cool. A nice deep insight into each medium. I think that's fantastic. Thank you. And now, sometimes I don't believe that you do work at IKEA because of the amount and volume of things that you do with your art. Do you, so obviously I think you touched on it a little, that joining the collective has kind of redirected you. How
Absolutely.
do you sort of prioritize a sort of amount of time to do social media? Are you just kind of random with it? How have you, because like I say, you share everything, plus you're sharing all your stuff to all your platforms, plus all the files. So how do you, because that's something that, if I'm honest, I'm struggling to find my way. You know, with the conversations, it's a bit easier. I can plan, okay, 9 o'clock, I upload all of Vivek's stuff so people can see it a bit before the interview and blah, blah, blah until
Yeah.
the next day. But it can be quite difficult to find that flow. So how is it for you? Is it something that you enjoy as well? How do you make
I
the
think social media stuff is very enjoyable when it goes right. When it goes wrong, it can be a real pain. So when I was doing like one or two paintings every day, I was actually at that time I was creating one photograph a day, one painting a day, and one drawing a day, or one digital drawing a day. So I was doing 3 artworks every single day, and I continued that for about a year non-stop every single day. And so because I had that routine of, okay, in the morning I'm doing photography, in the afternoon I'm doing painting, in the evening I'm doing drawing, it was locked in. And obviously at that time I was not working my night job as it is. Um, so I had a lot of free time. And I think that entire year of being, okay, I need to upload this, I need to post this, I've got a deadline because uh, on Twitter, timing is very important when you post things. And that was my main social media for a long time. So that sort of built it into me that now when I wake up, I'm like, okay, what time is it? I need to put a photo on Instagram straight away to have at least a minimum of one post every day. I think that's, maybe I don't get much engagement. And some places like Facebook, I don't really get any engagement at all, but I still put the post out every day because something I learned with search engine optimization when I used to do some Google keywords work with my dad many years ago is that the more content you put out, the more content Google will archive and register and put in its databases, and the more times you will be found in search results.
Oh, wow.
So, for example, you go to Google right now and you type in my full name, Vivek Idris Goel. Almost every single result you will get for the first five pages are only me. And if you click on images, every single thing you will get for the first like 150 images are just me and my artworks. And I'm lucky because I am pretty much the only person in the world with this name. It's a very unique name. Not many people have a Hindu name, then an Islamic name, then a Hindu name. So it's like, oh, well, how did that happen? So yeah, I'm very lucky in that regard that social media has been easy for me because I'm easy to find in that way. So I think it's about having a routine to say, okay, if I don't post something today, I'm losing views, I'm losing search engine hits, I'm losing, and for me as well, art is a legacy. I'm leaving this here so that it's here when I'm not here. So I want something every day there. So wherever it's picked up on whatever random website, there's something every single day you can see my life is here for you 5 years down the line or whatever. So I would say prepare what you're going to do tomorrow the night before. So you're going to post something, a photo in the morning, you intend to post it before 10 a.m., have it ready at 10 p.m. the night before. And then all you have to do is click the button and it's done. Or if you do even have trouble with it, you can use like an app like Crowdfire, where you have to pay that. There is like a way to pay them. You can add more accounts. If you just want to use 2 accounts, you can use Instagram and something else and schedule all your tweets and your posts and your uploads and your mentions and your stories like a month in advance and just let it do it by itself.
Yeah, I love that about YouTube, I've got to say, because I think we've done, you're the 18th or 19th person.
Oh, wow.
And
wow,
they're
really?
already sort of scheduled, so I don't have to do anything. Like today is the lovely Fatima, who's our life model.
Yes,
She'll be up
incredible
on,
oil painter.
awesome lady, amazing artist, and I don't have to then worry about it. So yesterday I put about 6 videos up. I've scheduled them for their release dates. Sometimes, to be honest, I forget that it's the day until YouTube sends me the alert.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. And I'm trying to even create some consistency in this time where we don't know what month it is, what day it is. And, you know, I'm using Thursdays and Sundays because it's when we would do the exhibitions anyway, to try to bring, you know, continuity to our brand as well, so people know Thursdays and Sundays are for Hanway. Okay, guys? You hang out with us on a Thursday and a Sunday, okay? No one else. Lock your family up. We don't care.
Yes, we are vastly more important, to be honest. Where else will you be inspired like this? Come on now.
Yeah, exactly. But now, before I go into some of the other questions, if we can just come back to the thing I'm a little, and I don't want to put any pressure on, but I'm a little obsessed about it, and I'll show you guys the example that I mean. So I do love the new way that you've edited some of these. So this is that Eiffel Tower slash
yes.
But
they're both from Paris, so technically you're not too far off.
Well, there you go. And what, you know, there's that diagonal line that you talk about being obsessed with, how you've highlighted just that snippet. And you've done it with quite a few recently. And I really wondered if you could discuss a little bit as to maybe why you're editing them like that. Is that going to be something going forward? Is that part of a different project? Because I love how your digital art and your pencil art has come together. It feels so much like you.
Thank you very much. This was a complete surprise to me. I use Photoshop, what is it called? Photoshop Express, something like that on my phones. And so I recently got a new phone a little while ago. Same one as you, Ricky Lee, I think.
Wow,
and then, yes, it's a good one. So I was like playing around with it, and I needed, we had an exhibition scheduled in April for myself, for my pencil drawings of New York and Chicago. And because I always leave everything to the last minute, I was still preparing those new drawings. So for the promotions, I had to use my old drawings. And I thought, well, everyone's seen these drawings already. What can I do to make it look a little bit different. So I put a couple of different filters on, I blurred it, and then I said, what about this diagonal line? And then that just like clicked for me, and it became something just totally new. So I used that for the promotions for the exhibition, which will eventually happen at some point.
Yes.
And then now at the moment, I use it pretty much exclusively just for work in progress pieces. So something that I'm working on, but I'm not happy to show the entire thing because I'm self-conscious about it maybe, or it's just not ready. Because I want to post something every day, and I want to post a photograph every day in the morning, a drawing every day in the evening, if I haven't got a complete drawing ready and I've only got a work in progress, I'll say, okay, I'll take a photo of this, I'll obscure it so no one can, complain about it too much that it looks rubbish. And then I'll put it out this way, and it still has some aesthetic quality. It still ties to me because I've put something of myself in even the editing process, and it becomes something separate. So in the future, because you were so encouraging about this, it's like made me think further, and that I could use this as a way to create digital prints and play with the drawings and have a totally new artwork emerge from something I've already created. So it's like a very interesting new avenue I can explore.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I think it's, and guys, go check it out on his Instagram page, because there's the actual Eiffel Tower as well. That's up there, the way you've done the London Bridge or Tower Bridge, the lighthouse. I was really excited, and to find out how it comes around. I love those stories that you stumble upon something that's so you, kind of by mistake, and kind of just to make sure you're getting that work up and you're getting it out there, because you are so obsessive. And I'm really, really, I'm proud of Hanway for being able to bring you back to that, but you already had done that work, you know what I mean? It's just the way that you light up when you talk about art or trying to help someone. It's a light in you that cannot be put out, Vivek, and I'm so happy it shines on all of us, because
you are so sweet. Thank you so much.
I really don't compliment people who don't deserve it. I'm not. But for real, and for me, it's an authentic process that we're all going through. And you're so raw with your stuff as well, you know what I mean? And you are actively seeking feedback, which I find a lot of adults don't know how to do without getting really hurt. And I like that you trust me enough to, take my advice, because it's coming from a place where someone else gave me that, and that meant a helping hand to me. And that's what I love about the collective is, Marv can phone me, I can phone Marv, you could phone Berenice could phone Shan. We're all there to be able to help guide, and, for Hanway to be able to bring you back to this focus, because I can't make you focused about your art or care. That's why I was saying to Marv, if you're obsessed, brilliant. I'll do everything else. But I cannot make you obsessed. So, sorry. That was quite awesome to hear that. I'm really glad we delved into that. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what's coming
the
next.
Feedback has been like so invaluable. One example would be at the pencil drawing exhibition we had. One of our visitors, also a colleague of ours, Marta, she has an architectural background, and she was talking to me about a specific way that I had captured one of the images. I think it was Grand Central Terminal Station in New York, and how I had decided to draw certain background images, background buildings, or how I had highlighted certain parts of the building and the bridge in the foreground. And hearing her perspective from an architecture and an artistic perspective, really just like, I was just in awe to hear that, and to have that kind of feedback has only come with the help and support of the Hanway Collective. Because prior, you might get a post on Twitter, someone saying, okay, that's a nice photo, or they'll post it or whatever. And that's wonderful. That is like, it's amazing for someone to like your art in that way. But when someone has something else to say about it, they've thought about it for a moment, that is invaluable. That's priceless to me, I think.
Yeah, no, it's for me, just in the beginning, it was like kind of lonely, and I do need not validation, but like you say, having Marta talk to you in a real way about, an aesthetic that you haven't been trained or taught to, but she has, and she can see that in you. I totally get how that feels. Like, you know, it can be that one comment, like you say, on social media. I mean, in the first one or two of these that I did, I wasn't super confident and didn't know what it was going to be like and if people cared. And this one lovely photographer I'd met at a Fashion Week event said, "Oh, please, these are fantastic. I'm really enjoying this." And I was like, wow, I don't care if 50 people don't like it. Like, that was just
Yeah,
such a cool
reach
point to
someone.
drive me forward. Yeah. So, I mean, it's been great to, yeah, we don't need people blowing smoke up our ass all day, every day. That's not what a collective
Yeah,
is there
of
for.
course.
To
Absolutely.
motivate, you know, like you say, putting a deadline on yourself for, I work very much like that. It's you know, I'm accountable to you, but I know I kind of need other people to be accountable to get my ass in gear. So I build my life around that because it's not something I can change overnight, but I need to make it work for me. So, you know, we do what we can.
But
So
yeah, the
yeah,
Hanway Collective is an amazing group of people.
it
Really,
is.
I'm
I
so happy to be part of this. It's like something that has made a really big positive difference in my life over the last year, and I think that it's going to have a big impact on the future as well.
Yeah, I mean, getting to know you guys more and having you as a part of, you know, a real business that's, you know, wants to move my life forward. I'm really, really just honored that all of you are happy to be here, you know, that you're down. I mean, it's an incredible feeling and it's nice to have your friends that you genuinely get along with. You can find a way to actually work towards the dreams you all have and actually
Yeah,
do build
absolutely.
even more together. And I think, like I said to Marv yesterday, that's fundamental in choosing my team, was to look around at how your skill level doesn't matter when you're obsessed because you'll work through that. That's fine. But like I said, you know, the way that you are so supportive and so helpful and the foresight you have to someone else's problem that you might create, which we all have from IKEA, because you could be causing 8 problems for one person if you don't do your one thing properly. So
Yeah,
in that way, you know, I would say to people, and they would think it was a ridiculous reason, but I'm like, Vivek's rubbish. Like when Vivek was just a little coworker, the stack of rubbish, Marvin will love and appreciate this, was phenomenal on the pallet. So when you get to compactor, you pick it up, boom, it's done. And
that's
that's
it.
efficient, that, you know, because you're not
Efficiency.
just
Yes.
thinking about what you have to do. And I need that in this collective. You know, I want to take those transferable skills we've all learned and put them into practice, you know, understand the things that we mess up or learn from our data.
Mm.
Oh,
Ah, are
hello.
you there? Hello.
Yes.
What happened? Did you go or did I go? Something
I have
happened.
no idea, but I touched something on my phone and it came back. So maybe it was me. Sorry, guys.
Excellent.
But now, if we move on from the collective a little, if we can talk about what's been your proudest moment so far, because obviously you have a long career ahead of you, but to date, what's been your proudest moments?
My proudest moments definitely have been my two exhibitions with the Hanway Collective. To be honest, before joining the collective, I was almost certain that I would probably never have an exhibition or never be able to display my art unless I really like funded it myself and probably took a big financial hit to get it
Yeah.
underway. Um, so these two things were like a dream come true. They were both amazing events. I'm so happy that the people who came by were able to show their support. Um, they didn't necessarily go to plan as they should have done. They weren't exactly easy, but I learned a hell of a lot from them, and it made me feel so much more confidence and capacity in showing my art to say that, okay, yes, I can commit to having 3 exhibitions a year or 6 exhibitions a year, and I can know that I have um, the motivation to create enough art to fill those to fill those exhibitions, and stand in front of them and say, yes, this is my art, this is what I've done, what do you think? And maybe a year ago, I would have never thought that would be possible, that I would even be able to talk to someone in the same room about my art, because my art is obviously very personal. It's a very emotional thing for me. So to be able to stand there with a stranger and take them through all of my photos that I've got on show that day was like a really scary thing, but a really amazing thing. And I hope something that I will never forget. And I'm very grateful for. That is like a big thing.
It was fantastic. I remember doing your photography exhibition and just the vibe in the beginning, and arriving there, and Marvin is ever so lucky you went first, because we worked out a lot of stuff on your exhibition. I was like, okay, so these frames suck, and then it takes forever. So we just need to focus on frames only, don't touch anything else. So yeah, it's been, I must say, I'm so glad that there's been moments that we can treasure forever. There's been fantastic turnouts, amazing support from people you never thought were going to come through, and to
absolutely
be around a bunch of people who aren't necessarily artistic but are great supporters of you doing that's also been fab. Seeing everyone's mates turn up and family, and your family has been so incredible and supportive of your stuff, and they're such a lovely bunch as well, which has been great to kind of really
they are amazing
outside of work, because it is so emotional for you to share. And I get, in being the gallerist, or whatever I do that day, I get to see the parts of you and the other artists that other people don't get to see, and those are memories that I really hold dear, because it shows that you trust me a lot. And I feel so proud and lucky that I'm able to give you guys this platform, because it's phenomenal. But yeah, on the upside of the sunshine, there has to have been a moment of doom. So if you can think of a moment of doom and let us know, what was that like for you? How did you get over that?
So the most amazing things in my art career have been the exhibitions, and the most terrible things in my art career have been the exhibitions. So the first one was the photography one. And for some reason, I do everything at the absolute last minute. So I collected all of my photography prints about 2 hours before I was due to leave, get my Uber to go to the gallery, our pop-up gallery space that we have at the amazing Troy 22 bar in Fitzrovia. Fantastic location. So yes, I collected all the prints. I hadn't even seen them. They were all bundled up. I ran home. I grabbed all the frames that I could, put them in the Uber, and he said it's going to be like 2.5 hours, usually for a journey that takes like 20 minutes or 30 minutes in the car, or half an hour on the tube. And I was like, I can't go on the tube because I've got a million bags full of 20 giant frames. So I was sitting in the car in the Uber for a good hour and a half, and it's 5 minutes before the time I had told Ricky Lee I would be arriving at the place. And the guy just drops me somewhere, and I'm running down the road with the bags, and we get there. And thank goodness, Shannon was there, and she just like a machine, she just started cutting everything open and was like, here, you do this, and you do that. And I was like, okay, I'll just open this, I'll unstrap this, I'll stick this here. And somehow we got it ready on time, and with enough time to go and get a Red Bull and sit there and like try and calm myself down. And then people started arriving. So that was amazing. And that wasn't too bad. Okay, you get there late, you didn't think about traffic, you didn't plan properly. That's a lesson to be learned for the future. So I thought, okay, for the next exhibition, definitely I will be prepared. I said to her, I'm going to have all my drawings ready a month before they're due to be done. Everything is going to be done. The frames are going to be sorted out, no problem. On the last week of the exhibition, I'm still drawing. I haven't bought any frames yet. I haven't sprayed any of the drawings to protect them with like a pencil varnish. I haven't signed anything. The frames arrive from Amazon on the day. 2 of them are already broken, so I'm like, okay, I can leave those, because I had ordered extra, because I thought, okay, my previous experience, let me order 5 extra. The 2 were broken, that's fine. I put them in the frames because I said I'm not going to let Shannon Thompson do all the work. I put them in the frames. I've got them in my bag. I'm carrying them downstairs, and I dropped the bag. and all the drawings in the frames fly everywhere. And I stand there for a minute thinking, I don't know what I've done in my life to deserve this. And I pick them all up, and two of them I've actually smashed, and the glass has gone through the paper, and it's totally torn. And one of them was a really nice New York skyline with the bridges, and I had really liked that one. So anyway, two of them are destroyed. So like, what can I do now? I'm down two drawings. I can't take 8 drawings to fill this huge, massive space. I need to take at least 10. Originally, I'd want to take 20. That didn't work out. So on the day, like hours before the morning of the thing, I am drawing 2 drawings very, very quickly, get them in the frames, get there with enough time. I think we had enough time this time for the pencil one. And then, yes, just stand there and be like, okay, thank God it's done.
If I can just share this story, and Vivek, forgive me, but it was so funny. Vivek arrived super apologetic with the pencil ones, and it was fine. You know, Shannon's on her tip. She knows, like, don't try to talk to Shannon. She has nothing doing. She'll tell you what to do and then leave her alone. Some people haven't grasped that about Shan yet. She's cool. Just she has shit going on. I've spoken about Shannon. I've forgotten what I wanted to tell you. Oh yeah, so I looked at Vivek and I was so excited. I'm like, yeah, dude, what's up? And he looked at me and went, yeah, well, you can throw them all in the bin. And I was like, what? I'll kill you, Vivek. Like I said in my head, I'm like, I'll throw you down the stairs. What do you mean throw them all in the bin? And then he was just so, I didn't know the day you'd had and the destroying of the other ones, but the way you just came in there and you were like, just put them in the bin. I was like, put you.
Because in that moment, I was totally like, I don't know what I was. I looked at them and I was like, this is rubbish. This is terrible. This is like not even a thing. And people are going to look at this and not even know what it is. Look at this thing. Is this the Statue of Liberty? Is it a hot dog? What are you trying to draw here? And I was like, oh no. Done. Yeah, exactly. And I thought as well, because there were like A3 drawings, and the space is small, but it's big when you have like a tiny piece of paper to show. I was like, people are just going to look at this for 5 minutes and walk off. And I didn't know what to do. So for the next ones, my intention is, everyone out there, I'm going to fill the walls of that place with as many things as possible.
Everyone out there, it was awesome. I just had to share that moment of Vivek just being like, just put it in the bin. I don't care. And I was like, oh.
I'm really close sometimes to destroying a lot of my art. That's why I put it away. So I don't look at any of my art, like my paintings. If I looked at them, I would probably have thrown a lot of them away. So I put everything away. I don't touch it again. I don't look at it again. Just move on, leave it there. Someone will find it in 50 years and see and cover this treasure trove.
Don't throw anything away, please. You're a bit dramatic. But look, we're going to, I've got a few more things to cover with Vivek, and I don't like to stifle anyone. So I'm going to jump off this live now, but we're literally going to jump straight back on. So everyone who's here, please come back and join us, because this man is definitely...
Thank you for joining us, everyone. Thank you very much for a fantastic chat.
See you in a second. Ciao. Part 2 of Vivek, Hanway Week. Hanway Collective Week. Oosh. Oh, we've got no viewers yet, so. For all of you sticking with us through these trying times, thank you so much. It's very irritating. Let me invite Vivek in. Hello? Come on, guys. We're like 3 questions away here, Instagram.
Aww. Can't believe it.
On Instagram, don't do this to me.
Wonder why it's doing that. Should I try a different phone, maybe?
I don't know. I'm very upset. I feel like I even want to give it like half an hour and carry on this with you because it's so good.
Yeah. All right, I'll tell you what. Let me try my iPhone. Let's see if this makes any difference. Okay. Well, go away.
Okay, bye. Okay, well, while we wait for that, I am just going to take you on a little tiny trip in Vivek's Instagram. This is so horrible. Hi, Nicara. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. I'm so sorry. I thought my phone was upside down for a second. Not that that would have mattered, but anyway. So yeah, do you see what I mean? In like his buildings, there's so much love and detail, and he's so confident with them. It's really very cool. Hi, Marv. So yeah, we're just waiting for Vivek to get on a different phone to see if that'll be up. Here he is now. Let's okay, well I can't actually, I'll just keep it on there until I can turn it around again.
Hey, look at this. Amazing.
Finally.
Afternoon.
Oh, we're
The
back, we're
iPhone
back.
has worked.
Yes.
Although it seems
Okay,
like it's much
so
less
what we had
permanently.
last ended our first set of conversation on was your scariest moments, and you took us through the
Yes.
exhibitions being the proudest and scariest moments, which I love,
Yep.
because I also
Definitely.
have very deep feelings about that as well. So we've discussed all of that stuff. Now, how has this time in the pandemic affected you, and then in particular your art, your brand? How has that time been for you so far?
So at first, of course, I am away from my normal full-time job at the moment. So I'm stuck at home like pretty much everyone else. At first, it was really difficult to find any motivation, any reason to get up and do anything except sit and watch YouTube or sit and watch Disney Plus or whatever all day long and just not do anything and let every day just pass by. And I think I might have done that for like 2 weeks, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. And that time has just gone completely wasted. Uh, I suddenly like woke up and thought, okay, I need to actually use this time. Unfortunately, I'm not really doing everything I could do, but I've taken a page out of Marvelous's book and just like, if you don't work out today, don't work out. If you don't do this thing, don't do that thing. You're not under pressure. Relax and enjoy this time because you're never going to get this time back. Even I've never had this kind of time to relax so much in the last year or so while I've been working. So that's been quite difficult. I miss work so much. Like I couldn't believe how much I miss my team there, the building, my little truck, all of these things. It's like I wish I could go back just to, when I go back there, I'm gonna run around that place like a little kid, I think, for like a good few hours, just to feel at home again. Um, and then I thought, okay, let's use this time to be creative. Let's, we can't do the exhibitions, and that really depressed me a lot. The exhibition was obviously postponed, and so that took like a big hit on me. And I was like, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to draw anything at the moment. I don't want to even look at whatever it is or think about this opportunity that's disappeared. And I was like, well, that's, very pointless. Why waste time moping about this stuff? Do something. So I started drawing again. I'm trying to do a little bit of calligraphy. I want to do my paintings, but there's some. I think because my paintings all come from a very dark place. So if I'm not in that darkness, I can't paint. So I want to, but I don't have the thing right there. So yeah, and on the business side, the pandemic is obviously not good. The economy is pretty much destroyed. No one wants to spend money too much. So selling original artworks, I've stopped at the moment. I do have a Redbubble shop where my art and designs are available exclusively on a variety of different products, home decoration, clothing, phone cases, all this sorts of stuff. Um, and then once things return to normal or some type of normalcy, I will reopen. I've got a strategy which I had originally planned for this year, a business strategy of trying to increase sales by a huge amount and creating a entirely new range of affordable artworks so I can try and reach a lot more people. But some of the feedback I got from the exhibitions was that these artworks are wonderful, we might like to buy them, but the price is too high for certain pieces. And that could be, due to the size, due to the way that they were created, the materials used, and so on. So it's a learning process to try and evolve and evaluate what I can make progress with. So the pandemic's not been a good show, really. Up and down, I
Yeah,
guess.
2020's been so many things I've had to cancel and like rearrange. And
Yeah.
say your exhibition, we were just almost there. So
Yeah,
hard.
it was like the week we cancelled it the day before.
But it was like, it was just such a time, like, what do you do? And even now, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Nobody even knows. And, I had about a month into my sabbatical where I didn't do anything. I just slept. I was absolutely exhausted. I was really, really, really sad. I mean, you're
Mm.
going from seeing like 600 odd people a day to seeing Shan. And that's lovely. I love Shan, but, well,
You need a break sometimes.
no, but it just was the volume. Like, she can't take what 600 people took. You know what I'm like in that building. Hello,
Yes.
hello.
A
And
lot of
Shan,
fun you are, definitely.
it's way too much. But yeah, so obviously, I think you've touched a little bit on what you're working on now already. So if we can come to my absolute most favorite part of the conversation,
Mhm.
what is the dream? No money limit, no government restrictions, like you can have whatever you want. What is the dream for Vivek?
Well, the long-term dream, and actually the dream that I'm actually working towards, something that I want to achieve, um, and it actually reminds me of exactly what you said in your interview on Monday, is to have a small gallery space,
Mm,
perhaps like a normal high street sort of shop front, where the downstairs can be a personal gallery space, where I can highlight my artworks and then those of artists that I admire or who inspired me. And then I can live upstairs pretty much. And that's like a dream kind of thing for me, because I
mm,
would be able to create and then immediately display it. That's like the instant gratification you can get. So that's the ultimate dream of my career in art.
mm,
But a sort of dream that I've had pretty much all my life, if I had no money and absolute control over the world, is I have a story that I've had in my head for maybe 20, 25 years, and it's been formulating. And I'm unsure of how to tell that story. If it should be
mm,
a novel or a series of novels, short story, poetry. But because I love cinema so much, I find that to be an incredible art form when it's
mm,
used correctly, or diligently or carefully. Um, with cinema, you can create some astounding things, something that can take someone literally away from their entire life for an hour
mm.
and a half, and put them somewhere else, somewhere new they've never ever been, and somewhere they can never return to again, essentially. So I have a story. It's a very, very dark story. It's a very upsetting story. It's a very difficult story to tell because there's only one speaking character or two, maybe at most. Um, so my dream would be to tell that in a movie sense, in a cinema sense, to film that, to direct it, to edit it, to write it, and to choose the actor. Maybe like three actors could have roles in this film. That's like my ultimate dream. If I had all the money in the world, I would work on that uh, right away, immediately. I would stop everything else and run away and do that.
Thing. Okay, well, when you're ready
So
to
yeah.
tell us more about it and you got the things that you need in place and there's no
Mhm.
money, we're on it. We're on it.
Okay, cool. Yes. Well, when there's lots of money, you mean?
Lots. There's going to be lots. Come on. It's going to be great. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say a huge thank you. Getting to have this time with you was really great for me as a friend of yours, but also to sort of manage your art and stuff is a huge privilege when it's under my care. So I really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for taking it out with
Thank you
us.
so much. And
No,
thank you so much for managing my art. I definitely am the type of person who needs a manager. And to have someone so understanding and so encouraging and so like, I don't know, you're very positive about not everything. Obviously, the world is not all rainbows and sparkles, but when you give positivity, it's really like worthwhile, if that makes sense. It really means a lot. It makes a big difference. And I think that you've really pushed me along and helped me come out of my shell a bit and be a bit more open with my art. Because I would
well,
never have dreamed of doing all this a year ago. To tell someone about my art is like a nightmare. I don't know what I'm doing right now. But yes, all
yeah.
because of you.
Well, I just want to, thank you so much for being someone that I want to support, someone that's, gone a long way to show me that, new people aren't necessarily just out to fuck you over. You know, you can develop new friendships and get those great relationships later on in your life. You know, I've gone through when I spoke about the sort of collective I tried before Hanway a few years ago, like that makes me very emotional because I also want to put on people that I get along with, my friends. I'm okay with nepotism like that. I don't care. If you're an artist and you're my mate, hell yeah, I want to sell your stuff. But it's been such a privilege to get to know you guys, and to have you give me more trust in new people has been something that's really invaluable, because I have a lot of long friendships from a long time ago, but the new ones, they've been tough because I've been let down. But thank you so much for your consistency and your passion. It's awesome to be around, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. You are most welcome.
Thanks for sticking with us, guys, through that horrible, weird moment.
Thank you, everyone who has joined us today. It's wonderful to see some people actually watching. I was quite nervous.
It's been awesome. And I don't really know how this works, but Instagram is now saving stuff immediately to IGTV. So I've saved the first half there, and I will save this part there as well. But then obviously I'll record it off onto YouTube as well. So look out for that. Fatima is on YouTube today, guys, and everything in the Hanway story is Vivek's. If you want to get hold of him or find out how you can get some of the merchandise that he sells with his original art, or you want to find out more about that for yourself as an artist, Vivek is super helpful and loves sharing his knowledge with you. So get in touch with him or me, and I can pass you along. But yeah, thank you again so much. It's a joy.
See you later, everyone. Thank you. Have a great day and stay safe and stay home if you can.
Ciao, guys.
Bye.